Okay, so before we get started on this, I do need to issue a trigger warning. This is a story that does deal with issues of domestic abuse and sexual assault. So if that is something that you are not comfortable with listening to, here is your fair warning that that is a feature of this book. So, anyway, here we go. This is my opinion on The Many Sins of Lord Cameron by Jennifer Ashley, book 3 of the Highland Pleasure series. So, this one begins with our heroine Ainsley breaking into Lord Cameron's rooms to try to find this letter. She's rummaging through his stuff when he comes in with this other woman. She ends up hiding and just going, oh God, please leave, please leave. Cameron catches her but doesn't blow her cover. And you find out that Ainsley, who is a lady's maid to the Queen, a lady of the bedchamber, has been ordered by Queen Victoria to find these letters that were stolen from her and that she's being blackmailed with because they're these kind of raunchy love letters that the Queen wrote, and Cameron ends up getting tangled in with that. And you find out 6 years earlier, Ainsley did a similar thing where she broke into Cam's bedroom and he caught her, tried to seduce her, but she said no, that she was married and she wouldn't betray her husband. And so then 6 years later, here we are where they're coming smashing back together, and Ainsley is a widow now, so who knows what might happen. So Cam is determined to seduce her, but Cam is very adamant that he will never get married again, that he is done with marriage, and that he loves horses and women in that order. And so here we go through them, getting the letters back, Cam and Ainsley developing a relationship. He asks her to basically run away with him for the winter to Paris and be his mistress. And she goes back and forth on it for a little while, debating whether or not she wants to do it. And she ends up saying, yeah, she's going to go do that, only to show up to Cameron and go, all right, we're going to get married today. And she's like, huh? But she ends up agreeing to the elopement, and they get married. They go off to Paris, and you start finding out more about Cam and his past and about Ainsley's past. They both have some serious things that happened in their lives that I'll talk about a little more. And as they start working through those details and understanding each other, their relationship only grows more deeply, to the point where they end up going back home, and there's a point where Ainsley almost gets killed, and that kind of is a cincher for Cam when he realizes that he's in love with her and that he almost lost her, and it helps him get over some of his other issues. You get some really great stuff between him and his son Daniel. It's very sweet. uh, yeah, they have a happy ending where Ainsley buys him this horse he really wants, which is super sweet because she does some fancy footwork finagling to get him this horse. And then she tells him that she's pregnant. Happy ending. Woohoo. The book ends with Hart telling the Mackenzies that he's going to find a wife, and everyone starts making bets on the woman that he's going to go for, Eleanor, if she is going to accept his proposal or kick him to the curb. End of the book. Happy ending. So with this one, I really liked the characters. It's like you can go watch There's the Thing for my initial thoughts going into this. I had no idea what it was going to be because we really didn't know Cam or Ainsley very well going into this. Most we knew about Ainsley was that she was a bit of a tomboy, a bit of a wild child from her days at school with Isabella, and that Cam loved horses and that he was married, but his wife died. So getting into the heavier issues with this is that you find out that Cam's wife was honestly psychotic, that she attacked him and abused him to the point where he is covered in scars from what she did to him, and that she died because there was one night where she decided she was going to kill their baby, and Cam got between her and infant Daniel, trying to save him, struggle over the knife. Elizabeth ended up dying. Everyone thinks that Cam did it, but of course he didn't actually do it. Hart helped him get out of that. So yeah, Cam has some serious issues with trust, and it makes sense makes a lot of sense. And then with Ainsley, you find out that when she was 18, her brother took her on a tour of the continent, to make her sophisticated and worldly, and she ended up being seduced and getting pregnant, which is why she had a rushed arranged marriage with John McDonald. I think it's McDonald. I'm pretty sure that's his last name. That he was a good man to her, and he was willing to accept her and her child, and that he would raise the child as his own. But then tragically, her daughter died a day after being born. So you get Ainsley being very protective of Daniel, and the more she finds out about Cam's first wife, the more she absolutely hates her, because, yeah, his first wife was honestly horrible. So I really liked these two. I liked the relationship. It's really good. You have to have fair warning that this does deal with issues of domestic abuse and sexual assault. I have to get that out there. But overall, I still really enjoyed this book. I loved the relationship between Ainsley and Cam, because it was one of those things that they had that moment where they met 6 years before, and it was a missed connection sort of thing. So I really, really enjoyed it. I have decided I am going to listen to the 4th book in the series, which is about Hart Mackenzie trying to get Eleanor back, but Eleanor is trying to blackmail him. I'll go more into this when we get into the My Thoughts video, which will be coming up soon. So overall, The Many Sins of Lord Cameron, I give it a solid 4 out of 5. This series is just absolutely flooring me. I am loving it. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you disagree with me, that's totally cool. Leave your comments down below if there's anything you'd like to see me take a crack at in the future, and I will talk to you guys in a little while.